Hello? Is this thing on? Yes. Hello. Welcome to my magnificent room study. It's a fucking mess. Ignore everything behind me, like the server and the change table and I'm so confused. Mechanical keyboard and this like VGA cables running across the room and this hard drive. And cables and guitars and boxes and shit everywhere. So I have just got internet. It is absolutely incredible internet. It is fiber directly to my face. I fucking love it. It's been so good because I was without internet for so long and now I'm not without internet. So it's great. Which brings me to what else I've been doing today. I finally recorded lesson 3 part 1 of the back end stuff, which the more I think about it, the more I don't want to release it because it's going to be bad and I'm going to be told off a lot, but I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, so I probably will. But the few people who do watch, I was after some suggestions. I will hopefully remember, I will drop a link to my Steam library below. If I can get it to work, I will drop a link to my games list below. If there's anything you want to see in any kind of capacity, whether it be a let's play, a technical breakdown, a cart disassembly, or if it's a cart game or something to that ridiculousness, or anything like that, just let me know, because I'm kind of starved for ideas. Like, I can do let's plays, that's pretty simple. I've installed a couple of games today to do that at blistering pace, of course, because Steam is currently downloading at 12.3 megabytes per second. Fantastic. What have I installed? How do I do this? I've been digging around with Steam. Oh, don't crash. I installed All Walls Must Fall. I installed Carmageddon Max Damage. Jackbox 4, which I really can't do let's play of that by myself. Oxygen not included. Red Faction Guerrilla, because I fucking love that game for some reason. Resident Evil, the original remaster, because I've never played more than the first hour or so the original Resident Evil. SteamWorld Heist, Stories Untold, and Wolfenstein: The New Order. But I mean, Wolfenstein: The New Order is like 40 gig and it's only going to take an hour to download. So, I mean, go nuts. And then the reason it's going to take that long, I think, is because I'm actually running out of RAM, because I'm currently copying everything off my hard drive. Yes, my RAM is a bit fucked. And I don't think the hard drive can handle Steam trying to copy stuff to it, and the network trying to copy stuff to it. So I get like these network spikes, these disk spikes. I had my NAS, my Synology NAS, pretty much fail in the most spectacular way. Not because it was like I lost anything yet, but it was like a fucking stupid thing to happen. I moved it from behind me here to out in the garage where my network cabinet is, and during transit one of the drives got slightly loose, and it was because I got a hybrid RAID. It won't allow me to put the drive back in because I turned on the array. So the only way I can get that disk back up and running and the array working with redundancy is to replace it with a bigger hard drive, which is $250 to get a hard drive that size, because it's a 5 terabyte. So I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm copying everything off, and I'm going to sell my Synology because fuck you, that's ridiculous. And I'm going to put it all on this server behind me here. I have bought a HBA card for it. It's got 8 ports, which is fantastic. I'm going to stick like Unraid or FreeNAS or something like that on it, whichever one has the best like hybrid RAID support, because I really can't afford to buy 2 more 5 terabyte hard drives to put all the data on, because that's how much it would actually cost me. Current array is like 13 terabytes, and it was pretty much full, so anything less than 13 is not enough, and that would not work for me, so that is not happening. But yeah, that's a server I pulled out of a bin. Sorry, camera's up there, but my screen with myself is there, so I can actually see what I'm looking at. It's got 5 drives in it, but they're only 600 gig. But they're 15K cheated SAS drives, So that's cool. I can't use them in my current computer because they're SAS, and SAS is not compatible with SATA, but SATA is compatible with SAS. So I just plug all my SATA drives in there. It's fine. I don't need that much speed. And when you've got 8 drives and a RAID array, you get enough speed anyway, I guess. At least a saturated gigabit network, that's all I need. But yeah, I gotta find some blower fans that don't sound like an airplane taking off so that I don't have to hear it at night, even though it's out in the garage. I had my my rack mount switch, and I could still hear it inside. To be fair, it's a very, very large switch, but I don't want to hear that. It's actually it's a you can like populate modules, and it's got 4 modules with 96 gigabit network ports, or 92 plus 4 SPF ports, and that's ridiculous. And it's still got 4 modules you could populate, so it's like 192 port switch possibility, probably more if you can get different modules. Another thing I pulled out of the bin works fine. I do love e-waste dumpster diving. I have gotten a lot of cool stuff from there, which I hope to set up. I've got ideas for them all. Only issue is I've lost all the cool stuff like service rack screws and mounts. I've lost all those. I don't have any shelves. I thought I had 3 shelves. I have them, but they're not the right size for my bigger shelf. I suppose I could use the smaller shelf, the smaller rack, but that's lame. What else did I lose? I lost my RAID my SCSI cable so I can hook up my SAN, which is another 8-port JBOD thing, which also sounds like a fucking jet plane, but I'm guessing I can fix that. Yeah, it's actually been really, really stressful trying to fix this RAID array I have. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hard drives around me, plus the 5 in that machine, plus the 4 in my NAS, plus the 4 in my computer, all hooked up doing stuff. Well, that one I use, it's like a temp movement thing. And then I disassembled it because fuck it. Yeah, cool. Gist of it is, I have internet. Everything's cool. I have a study. That's cool. I have networking, and that's cool. Everything's cool. Synology, I hate you. It's a really dumb thing that you can't just go, oh, you know, this drive fell out. It's the exact same serial number and size. It must be the same drive. Just plug it back in. Like the rage I felt. Yeah, and the rage I felt with my internet. I've been recording for 8 minutes nearly. Do you want to hear my internet story? If you don't, just look at the links, leave a suggestion, whatever. Thank you for watching. The internet story is this, okay? So my estate, like for reference, Australia has NBN, which is bastardized at the moment and probably will be forever now. But back when I had it in my last house, it was fiber to the premises everywhere. And it was great. So you had the fiber going directly to a fiber modem in your house, and then you get your networking going off it like that. And I had, you know, pretty decent network set up. I had gigabit Cat 6, no, it was Cat 5A, Cat 5e running through the walls. Had it everywhere. It was fantastic. I had my wireless, which I have the same router here. It's a Nighthawk X6 spider crab looking thing, which is fucking awesome, by the way. I've got it in my garage, so through walls and stuff, and I've still got full bars with my Wi-Fi. Excuse me while I pick up my pick. And even like I go into the kitchen, which is the furthest room from the garage, full bars. Go upstairs in the retreat, which is the furthest room. Upstairs, away from it, works full bars. I go outside, full bars. You see where this is going. Fucking awesome Wi-Fi, and it's like super fast. It's AC 1500 or 3000, which whatever. I don't use the Wi-Fi for anything more than the internet, so 100 megabits is enough because that's how much my fiber is, at least for the moment, until I can get a fiber plan that's a gigabit at least. And as soon as I can, I'll be fucking doing it. Anyway, so the fiber is not through NBN, it's through a different company. They are called Opticom. The issue with Opticom is they have their own wiring standards, which, you know, is to be expected. And you look at their wiring standards, and it's quite different from the NBN, at least according to their manual. The NBN is, okay, you need to have it, in your garage generally, or in some kind of room where it's, unobstructed, it's out of the way. It has to be this far from the wall, this far from the floor, this far from any, like, gas fittings or stoves or whatever else. And the conduit that has the fiber in it needs to have this this kind of pipe, and your bends can't be more than this radius or less than this radius because it's fiber, and if you bend it, it breaks. It's glass. So that's easy. You put a conduit from the communications pit to outside, they terminate it into a little box, and then they run it inside through the conduit straight to the modem, and then it's like normal. You hook up your wireless to it, you hook up your Ethernet to a router, whatever you need to do. Sorry if that was gross, I don't know how that looked. And I read the instructions from the website, and it says, oh no, we don't do it like that. We have the network equipment outside. What? Oh yeah, reading the instructions, the modem is outside, and you have to send out a connection for your network, so Cat 6, well, it says Cat 5, but Cat 6, because if they do invent a 10 gigabit home fiber plan, I'm fucking getting that shit and upgrading all my 10 gig or my network. But I don't want to do the wiring, because that was a pain in the ass, especially with a double-story house. So Cat 6 or Cat 5 for that, a Cat 5 terminated with 2 RJ12s for the phone, and a RG6 quad shielded coax cable for the TV. The cool thing about this fiber is the antenna for the TV goes through it, so you always have perfect reception at your TV. It's fantastic. I don't watch TV, my wife does, and it works. All the HD channels just work. Whereas because of the location of where we are, we're sort of out in the bush, it never worked quite properly. But now it does, it just works. I'm like, okay, that's fucking stupid. Oh my god, shut up. That's kind of stupid. Why would they do that? I had a joke about it and whatever else, and then I just told the electrician, this thing says I'm not allowed to wire it, it needs to be done by a registered cabler. Can you do it? Do what it says? He goes, yeah, sure. So he does it the NBN way, runs the conduit outside. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, mate? Like, read the instructions, like, oh, sorry, I must have got that wrong. So then he just, like, runs some coax and some network cables just to, like, over there in the garage. No fucking idea what he's doing. And then he runs, I specifically told him, like, all my network trunk, don't put anything there. Just put a power point down the bottom and I will deal with the rest. Especially don't put my TV cables there, because I don't want a TV splitter with my network equipment. He goes, okay, cool. He put the TV cable there, because of course he did. And then he sort of just put a network cable, like the network cabinet is here in the garage, and then like a foot over is where the modem is, where the fiber point was meant to be. Or the fiber ingress, or the smart wiring cabinet, where the fuck they wanted you to have, was meant to be there. And he's just run a cable from one to the other. I'm like, what the fuck have you done? What have you actually done? And I'm sure he's charged me for it. He's yet to send me the bill for this extra stuff, but I'm gonna be fucking mad about that. It's gonna cost me like $400 for a shit job. Anyway, so it's still wrong. At this point, I'm losing my goddamn mind. And there's a checklist at the bottom of the instructions for the wiring saying, if you do not pass all of these checks, you will get charged a call-out fee of $100, and we will not come back out until it's fixed. Mind you, this is on top of the exorbitant, super fucking expensive installation fee. For reference, NBN was free. The estate has to pay for the NBN installation, but you do not. In this one, I'm sure the estate had to pay as well, but I got charged just over $500, which wouldn't have annoyed me so much if they didn't do it by estate, by area. There's an estate, hang on, obviously the direction doesn't matter to you. There's an estate that way, about 3 or 4 Ks, that has the same company, and it's like $100, and there's an estate like 10 Ks that way, and it's like, it's free. I can't. We're one of the most expensive in Australia, I think, if not the most expensive in Australia for this company to have an installation, because we're the rich area. I'm not rich. I'm not poor. Like, I've got a massive house and it's quite cool and it's mine. It's the bank's, but you know, whatever. I'm not going to cry poor, but we're not in a super good position to be paying $550 for internet installation. But whatever, we pay it, and I get to work wiring it. You know, I finally had the money for it, and I went and bought all the wiring I needed to do because I had to run a power cable out there as well. So I bought that. I bought the faceplate and the network points and the male and female termination points and stuff. And I put on the ones on the inside, and then for the ones that go outside where they put their little modem and box and stuff, I wasn't sure what they wanted terminated. Oh yeah, and the rest of that story is I called them up and said, okay, this thing says it has to be done by a registered cabler. Electrician says he's not a registered cabler after he does it. And then they say, oh no, it doesn't matter, just ignore that. Why the fuck is it on there with a big message underneath it that says, if this is not done, we're going to charge you $100 and not do the internet? Anyway, so I run all the cabling. I'm like, oh, they've asked for me to terminate these cables, but do they want a male plug or a female plug, you know? I'd assume male, but the picture I saw online has a female one. So, like, what do they want? Will they terminate it themselves? Like, what is this? So I called them up. Now, this was on Tuesday just passed, last Tuesday. And I was going away Thursday afternoon for a week, nearly a week, till Monday. And on Friday, they were coming to install it. So it had to be done basically that day. I had 2 days, or a day and a half. So I called them up, it's like, okay, so I've done this and this and this, and I just wanted to terminate the outside one, but I was just wondering, like, do you want male or female? And the guy goes, why have you done it like that? Why have you put the cabling outside? And I could feel myself, like, just thinking about it now, it's making me angry. I could feel myself starting to shake, and this like white rage coming across my eyes. And this guy on the other end of the phone, like, I'm not... Oh, you fucking idiot. I've lost my train of thought. This guy's lucky I was at work because I lost my mind. I was so angry. I'm not the kind of person who screams down a phone at the messenger, unless they're a cunt. But I wanted to. I really wanted to. And I sort of as calmly as I could, through the anger, like this is how I sound when I'm angry and trying to be calm, said, that's what the manual says. It's like, oh, where are you looking in the manual? Let me just bring it up. And I go to this page right here where it says modem goes outside. He goes, oh, no, those are old instructions. You don't have to follow those. Okay, so how do you do it? Oh, just like NBN. So the original thing I had, you cunt, is what I needed. So the 5th time, or the 3rd time I had to do the NBN installation, it was right. It was right the first time as well. But whatever. It was done. And so he comes out Friday, and I'm away, and I had my dad and my mum looking after the place while I was away, because my wife had to work, so that this guy could come in and install the internet. And he comes in. First thing he does is laughs at my network trunks, like, oh, he's going to resell the internet, his exact words, and then takes a photo of it, which I find to be a breach of privacy, to be fair. And then he puts the modem about this far from the floor, in a garage, mind you. And my dad's like, why are you putting it so low? And this fucking smartass just goes, you know, I'm very good at my job. I pay someone to mow my lawn. I pay someone to service my car. That's not my job, mate. What's not your job? Moving it. You haven't put it in yet. The fuck's wrong with you? So my dad walks away, and to be fair, I probably would have done the same thing to avoid using the very many pointy implements in my garage to fuck him up. And then it gets done. And it's done. And my wife gets home, you know, this was about 10 o'clock in the morning. She gets home about 5, 6 this night. You know, does her normal thing, cooks my daughter dinner. 1 second. Apologies. So my wife gets home, which is what she's doing now. Is why she called me, to make sure I have pants on, which I don't, to be fair. So she calls me, goes, okay, how do I hook up the internet? I'm like, look, all you have to do, I have terminated a plug for you in the garage. Go over to the modem, plug that fucker in. Internet should be working. She goes, okay. And then she sends me a photo. And I'm going to actually bring up the photo because I was upset to say the least. Just that. Because the guy just didn't bother to put it in properly. There's these like plaster screws that a normal screw goes into, and he's made the holes too big because he's a fucking idiot. He doesn't know how to do his job. No, but he's so good at his job, he pays other people to do other shit. Of course, this is what makes me so angry, because everyone who's worked on this house has been a fuckwit and fucked up my house, and it hasn't been cheap, and it's not going to be cheap to fix it either. So it's just like, well, this is very annoying. He came into my house with a smart ass and did the job shit. The job I've paid a lot of money for him to do, which basically, and I'm not exaggerating here, involved him pulling a fiber connection through, putting a termination point, which is a joiner, putting a termination point, which is a joiner, putting a small fiber cable between the point and the modem, and then turning it on. That was it. That was 2 days of me going to work for him to do that. So that was fun. And I still haven't been able to level a complaint, because every time I think about it, I get fucking angry and I can't call up and not be calm, because that puts me in the wrong. So that's my internet story. But on the plus side, when I do a speed test, I get like 105 megabits per second and a 4 millisecond ping. So I'm not going to complain too much about that side of it. I really hope the microphone is working. Just looking at it, watching for the flash. That's it though. That is my life story according to the internet, about the internet. Once again, thank you for watching. If you have anything you want to see, just not anything from the neck down, preferably. It's all kind of awful. Drop me a message, tweet me, fucking smoke signals. Come knock on my front door if you can find me. No, please don't. That's fucking creepy, man. Yeah, so hopefully some videos on that server soon, the coding stuff, some game-related stuff, some programming-related stuff, and the resurrection of Mithras LP, hopefully, if I can get everyone together, because I have my games nearly unpacked again. So yeah, fun times.